Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to Awaken Your Power, the path to self-empowerment. And I am really genuinely honored that you're here, whether you've found your way perhaps over social media, perhaps you saw a post, perhaps you found it on Instagram, maybe you heard it from a friend, or maybe you had a whisper from your higher self. And I want you to know just right from the start that you are in the right place. This space we've entered together today, it's not about overload or doing it all right. It's actually something different. It is a sacred pause. It's a loving recalibration. It is a moment where you can come home to you. So just for now, I'd like you to take a deep breath. And I want you to let go of that mental, the mental to-do list. And I want you to let your shoulders just drop because you landed somewhere safe. So over this little bit of time you're going to spend with me, I want to let you know that this is not about selling anything. There's absolutely no pressure. There's no pushing. This is about value. It's about truth, and it's about remembrance. Um, you know, Ladies, we're walking the path together. It's a path of empowerment. It's about awakening, and it's about soft strength. And yeah, I do have a gift for you if you stay to the end. So stay with me because it is a beautiful offering too. But right now, I just want you to be, just be right in the moment. And I want you to be with you because this is your time and you are so deeply, deeply welcome. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. So if you can just let me know what you see on your screen there now, can you let me know in the comments if you can see Awaken the Wellness Warrioress join the free webinar? Can you see that? Can someone write in the comments so I can see? Yes, beautiful, beautiful. So how I want to start off is with a little, I guess, intention, a little prayer or a little intention. So I get you all to place your hands on your heart, and I'm going to read out something for you before we get going. Divine Spirit, source of light and love, we gather here as women awakening, to rise, to reclaim, and to remember who we truly are. May this sacred space be held in the energy of love, clarity, truth, and empowerment. We call in protection, guidance, and grace. Let only which serves our highest good enter here. Let every woman feel seen, feel supported, and safe to be her full self. We set the intention that healing will unfold exactly as it's needed. Wisdom will rise from within. Each soul here will receive what they came for, whether it's clarity, courage, connection, or a spark of remembrance. May we honor our bodies, trust our intuition, and lead from the heart. We are strong in body, fierce in spirit, and worthy in soul, and together we awaken the wellness warrior within, and so it is. Okay, there we go, ladies. Okay, I'm just going to check. It is recording. That's pretty important that we got the recording. So let's talk about why you are here. And more importantly, who is this masterclass, who I created it for? So this is a class for women who's been feeling a little bit off-centered lately, maybe a little bit disconnected from her own spark. You might be wondering where your vitality went or when exactly you stopped hearing your own voice. It's the woman who has worn thousands of hats, whether it's being a mother, partner, a caregiver, a leader, a lover, a grandmother, or somewhere along the way forgot that she allowed to take up some space too. You probably spent many years putting other people first. You've probably been the strong one, the one that's holding everything together, and silently and visibly, it's been really exhausting. Or perhaps you are in a time of change because something has shifted. You know, it could be that you're going through a breakup or a career change or a health wake-up call or just a change in life. And now you're standing in front of the mirror and you're asking, who am I now? And what do I really want? What do I truly want? And if any of this speaks to you, I'm sure you're going to get a little bit out of this session, if not a lot. This session is not for the mask that you are holding. It is not the role. It is for you in your beautiful, messy, just your becoming self. And may I say, you're not here by accident, because something in you said yes to this moment. And I must say, I deeply, deeply honor that. I got to find the buttons on how to change this slide. So let me walk through what this beautiful journey together will look like. So first, we'll talk about what true self-empowerment actually means and what it doesn't. And I want to say to you, it's actually not about being perfect and it's not about being polished. And then what we're going to explore is why women often lose touch with our own power and how those patterns show up in our everyday lives. And I've got to say, trust me, because you're not alone. I'll be sharing the 3 fundamental pillars of empowerment that create a strong, a soul-led foundation for empowerment. And these pillars, ladies, warrioresses, have been really life-changing for me and for so many women I've walked beside on their journeys. You're also going to get to experience a little bit of a practice, and because I believe in integration, not just information, and I want you to really feel it and not just think about it. And lastly, I am going to give you a little bit of a free gift towards the end. So how does that sound? I hope it sounds good. If you want to put in the comment, how does that sound? Let me know. And then let's begin this journey inwards and let's awaken your power. And we're going to do that together because that's why we are here. So I want to take a moment to share something personal with you. I'm not going to go too much in depth now, but I'm going to share a little bit because what I'm sharing today, it's not just a concept or a coaching tool. I want to say this is actually lived. I was reflecting a lot on that today. And it's actually real, and it actually is mine. On the left here, I have this slide just, who am I, and all these sort of degrees and what I do. And yes, I have done a lot, ladies, and so have you. You've done a lot, you've experienced a lot, and all those experiences shape us. But as I was looking at that, I was thinking from other women's perspective or other men's perspective when they look at me. And you know how we look at people, particularly in the world now with social media, and we kind of think that everyone live this kind of perfect life. They've got it all together. They got it all figured out. Have you ever thought that that's the case? Let me know in the comment if you feel like, that, you know, other people got it all together. Have you ever felt like that? Just put yes in the comments. I believe we've all been there. I certainly am guilty of that too. Very much so. Lately, I've had a very big wake-up call, guys. That's been quite interesting. But on the right here, you see it says, it looked like I had it all together, but I felt empty. You know, years ago, I was in a place where I felt really, really lost. And on the surface, everything looked okay. I was functioning. I was running a business. I was showing up. I was seeing clients. I was taking care of everyone. I was smiling. And even though I managed to do that, deep inside, I felt a bit numb. I felt tired. I was so tired. I had kind of drifted a little bit away from my truth, and I didn't even know how to find my way back. And I was just holding it up. No one would ever have known what was going on in my life. Have you been there? I know that there's so many women in this position. Let me know if you have been there. I'd love to see 100%. Absolutely. I'm going to see if I can check the chat now and then, but I know many of you have been there too. It's just what us women do a lot of the time. But I tell you, there was a moment where I remembered really vividly when I looked back at myself and I realized I've given so much of myself away. I've been too nice. I have just held it in. And, I didn't even know who I was anymore. And when I had that realization, something really broke. And I can also say that something awakened on the same time, because that was my beginning of my reclamation. And I can tell you, I didn't rebuild overnight. And it certainly wasn't a straight line, but I began, and little by little, to reconnect. I did it through movement. I did it through a lot of stillness. I did it through energy work, through breath work, through inner child work, through educating myself, through soul remembering. And I started finding my way back. And I so wish I could share that journey with you. Some of you may have known me a long time, but you probably never knew the journey that I was on. But that journey birthed the new version of me that stands here today. And it birthed the Awake Wellness Warrioress, not as a brand, but a state of being, as a mission. Because I believe that every woman deserves to come home to herself again, to rise in her truth, in her voice, and in her power. And that is why I do what I do, ladies. And that's why I'm here with you today. And by the way, it's not just for warrioresses, it's for warriors too. So I want to make that clear too, because I actually do help a lot of warriors too. Let's take a moment to talk about what true self-empowerment is. And if you want to write down what it means to you in the comments, that would be amazing. So self-empowerment, it's not about being hard. It's not about being rough or doing it all without help. It's not about hustle. It's not about pushing through pain with a fake smile. Who's ever done that? Put that in the comment. Oh my goodness, have I done that? Oh my goodness. So what is true self-empowerment? To me, it's remembering. It's about peeling back the layers we have, layers of conditioning, all the rules, all the roles, the shoulds, and start to reconnect with the essence of who we are underneath that all. It's about reclaiming the places of yourself you've silenced, your voice, your boundaries, your wildness. I don't have an issue there. Your emotions, your dreams. And it's no longer that you abandon yourself when things get really uncomfortable. Instead, it's saying, I've got you, to yourself. I've got you, with compassion. I've got you. That's what I've been telling myself, ladies. I've got your back. I have got your back. Empowerment doesn't mean you're never scared. It means that you actually stay true to yourself even when there's fear. Who's ever had fear in their lives? Oh my goodness, have I had fear? It's about acknowledging that. And it's about honoring your sacred energy. Most of all, your intuition, your body, even when the world around you doesn't understand it. So self-empowerment, it is really returning to your own rhythm, your own inner authority, and that is where the true power lives. How do you feel about that, ladies? I'd love to hear what you feel when you hear the word self-empowerment, because there's a lot of talk about that, but a lot of people actually don't really know what it is. Now, look at something really, really important. Why do we disconnect from our power in the first place? Because let's be honest, none of us were born doubting ourselves. We didn't do that when we were babies. We weren't born to say sorry for existing. That's something we learned, You wouldn't find a baby coming out saying, oh, I'm sorry for my existence. And that's the key word here. Learned. As women, we've been conditioned for centuries, not just years. We've been conditioned to please, to perform, to play small. And we've been taught to be agreeable, quiet, good, accommodating. Do you agree? We've been rewarded for self-sacrifice. We've been rewarded for punishment, even shamed. Yeah, absolutely. And we've been shamed for even speaking up. And add to that, trauma from our past, really toxic relationships. Who's ever been in a toxic relationship here? Anyone been in a toxic relationship? I think a few of us have been there. I think there's a few of us that have been there. Yes, encouraged to compromise ourselves to please others. Absolutely. Social pressure to look a certain way or to live a certain path. I was told, Karin, you got good grades. You should become a doctor or you should become an engineer. Lucky I was strong at the time. Why would I do that? I'm not interested in it. But a lot of people would go, yeah, they go on that path and then later they realize they're on the wrong path. Add to that also spiritual disconnection, ladies. So it's not a wonder that many of us, we feel like we lost touch of ourselves. But here's the beautiful truth I want you to hold on to today. Number one is that what we have learned can be unlearned, and what we've buried, we can bring back to life. And can I say that you haven't lost power? You're not broken. You're not behind. You've simply been disconnected. And that's what we're here to change. So today, can I say it marks a beginning of reconnection. It's a remembrance. And the good thing is, are you listening now? You don't have to become anyone else. You just need to come home to you. I'm going to see what you've written in the comments here. Yeah. Is it too busy to? Yeah. People pleasing. Absolutely. All right. Let's, I hope you can see the whole slide there. I'm going to move that to the other side. So now that we've spoken about what empowerment really is and why we lose it, let's talk about how we can actually rebuild it from the inside and out. So there are three sacred pillars that form the foundation of real, lasting self-empowerment. And these are the anchors that I've come back to again and again and again. And I've guided so many women through these pillars. So they are awareness and they are boundaries and alignment. So let's start with awareness. So awareness is the first step to transformation and change. What it is, if I can explain in simple words, it's basically just becoming conscious of your thoughts, your beliefs, your patterns, and your energy. Ladies, that's where it starts. So now, even you just being here and you're listening to this, you're starting to become more aware. The next one is boundaries. That's about creating a sacred, emotional, energetic container that honors your truth. And then we got alignment, and that's living in a way that reflects your values and your intuition and your soul's truth. They are the three pillars of my empowerment, and they're not abstract concepts. They're actually practical. They are really powerful and really doable. And they are how we stop living on autopilot. And it's how we move from surviving to thriving. And it is how we rise. So let me go through each one and do it really gently and deeply, and also with curiosity, because being curious, that's how you absolutely start to rise. So the first one, we begin with awareness. So awareness is the light of change. Awareness is like turning the light on inside your own inner world. So it's a moment you just stop going through the motions and you actually start to notice. I'm a master of awareness, conscious awareness, and I'm forever noticing myself and picking myself up. And it is something that you can do right now. Let's just test it right now. Let's pause and ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? Let me know in the comment what, you don't have to write down what came to you, but were you aware of what you were thinking right now? Don't start to analyze it, just whatever comes to you. Were you aware that you were thinking something? Doesn't matter what it was. Could be about what you were going to have for dinner. Maybe you were present in this moment and you said, this is really cool. Were you actually aware that you were thinking? Just put something in the chat box there. And another question for you. Where did this belief come from? Whatever you were thinking or that thought come from. Take a moment, just pause, think about it. Because remember, awareness is the light of change. Another question for you, beautiful warrioresses. Whose story am I living? Whose story are you living? Are you living your story? Yes, you were aware what you're thinking. And that's how it starts. So what happens is that most of us run unconscious patterns, and they were really never ours to begin with. So think about that for a moment. You know, the self-doubt, the perfectionism, the never enough narrative, all the negative self-talk. Chances are they could be inherited. It could have come from your family. It come from your religion. It comes from past relationship. It comes from years of trying to be what other people needed you to be. And, you know, life is busy, and particularly, you know, when we go through all the family stuff and we're being there for other people and we kind of lose ourselves a little bit. That I'm too old to be working 2 jobs at this pace. Yeah. And it's a good awareness, isn't it? Because, you know, you realize things and you got to look at that situation. It doesn't mean that you stop just like that overnight. It's about rearranging things to make it the way that you meant to live, so it brings you joy and you're living your truth. So, you know, awareness, it's really important for me to say it's not about judgment. It's about choice. And once you see the pattern, you're not longer trapped by it. So you can ask yourself, does this still serve me? And if not, you can get to choose something else. So that's where the power begins to stir again. And remember, you know, this is really important, women, and that is, you don't have to have it all figured out, because awareness is not about fixing. So you got to let go of that. A lot of people, what they do is, you know, we look for what they're thinking and straight away they go to, how do I fix it? Who did that here? I got to fix that. So you actually judge what you just did say. Did anyone do that? Did you have any thought about what you said? Because all I was asking you to be just becoming aware. That's all I asked. I got to check. Absolutely, yeah. So straight away, the brain just goes. So it's not about fixing, it's becoming present. That's all. That's all. Easy, easy. Becoming more present. No judgment. Okay, really, really important. So just start with this. What have I been tolerating that no longer feels true? Think about that one. What have I been tolerating that no longer feels true? What part of me wants to be seen right now? And let it be gentle, let it be honest, because this is your sacred awakening. I used to get stuck in analyzing the past. Yeah, absolutely. And, there's actually some personalities and some health types that do that more than others. Now, that's a different topic that I won't go into now, but it's really fascinating because the brain is slightly different for some people, and some people are more tend to more go back in the past and look at that. But the past is the past. So being here right now and just being aware without judgment. So if that happens, beautiful woman, you just go, I'm aware of that. Because, we're not here to be fixing. All right. All right. So let's go to the next one. And this is a big one. Let me move to that second pillar of empowerment, and that is boundaries. Now, I know that this can bring up all the feelings, guilt, fear of rejection, discomfort, and you're not alone in that. But let me gently reframe boundaries for you. Boundaries are not walls. Are you listening? They're not walls. They are bridges to your truth, your safety, and your self-respect. They are here to say, this is what I allow into my energy. This is what I lovingly decline, and this is how I honor myself. Boundaries are how you teach the world how to treat you. But more importantly, they are here to teach you how to treat yourself. Now, that's a big one. That's the truth. Because saying no is saying yes to your soul. So where are you leaking your energy? Because what you're doing, you're teaching others how to treat you by what you allow. So how many times have you overgiven, ended up feeling resentful, exhausted, or invisible? Stop it. It's not a nice thing to do. It's not about self-respect. And I know so many people do it. Far too many times. Absolutely. And here's the truth that I want you to remember, because every time you say no to something misaligned, you're actually saying yes to your soul. And you got to start small, because empowerment, no, is an act of reclamation, warrioresses and warriors. Boundaries are actually a gateway to feeling peace. And peace, do you know what? It's your birthright. All right, let's go to the next one. Alignment. That's the first pillar. A third pillar, sorry, alignment. And this is the one that makes, everything just flow. It's about when empowerment kind of stops being a concept, and it's about becoming a way of life. So your alignment in your thoughts, in your words, in your actions. Think about that. Your thoughts, your words, your action, and your choices are in harmony with who you really are. It's when you do. It's when what you do is actually matching your values. So can I ask you something? Have you ever said yes to something that looked good on the outside? You know, it could be a job, it could be a relationship, it could be a lifestyle, it could be, you know, whatever. But, you know, you felt kind of heavy in your gut or your chest. Have you ever been there? Let me know. Have you ever been there? Come on, warrioresses. I know you've been there. Some of you anyway, you can put it in the comments. And I just want to say, you know, that is misalignment. And do you know what? Your body always knows. And empowerment is actually learning to trust that knowing again. It's about asking, is this actually true for me? Is this true for me? Does this expand me or does it constrict me? Am I living in a way that honors my soul or someone else's expectations? And when you are in alignment, ladies, life doesn't feel like you're pushing. It feels on purpose and it feels really nourishing. It feels freaking awesome. And you don't have to chase what's meant for you because you are in alignment. And you, instead of chasing, you magnetize it to you. So, ladies, your alignment is your power. And you already know the way home. But the question is, are you going to take that way home? Let's see. I remember that feeling too. Yes. Many times I used to battle. I couldn't say no. Yeah, absolutely. And do you know what? People pleasing is the absolute worst thing you can do. It's not good for your soul. It's soul killing. It's actually a form of self-abuse. Comes from a lot of trauma. Now, we've spoken about the 3 pillars, and let's bring that into your life because, you know, transformation doesn't happen in big dramatic, you know, moments. It happens in micro moments, really small ones. It's tiny little choices you make every day, daily heart check-ins, heart check-ins, intentional movements by doing affirmations, doing energy clearing. You know, we got to clear the energy. We got to spend time in nature. We got to breathe and we're going to have stillness. So empowerment is a daily devotion to yourself, ladies. Who would agree to that? And, you know, you can use empowerment, empowering affirmations like, you know, I trust myself. My boundaries are sacred and I honor the woman I'm becoming. I use affirmations, I repeat it. And to trick the brain a little bit, I go, how easy it was to become the Awake Wellness Warrioress. How easy was it? Because you're already there. How easy was it for you to become that best version of you, that step into your true self? How easy was it? You know, energy work, so clear your energy daily. It can be through breath work. It can be smudging, you know, essential oils, time in nature. It can also be by setting intentions to release what no longer serves you. Because what that is, it's kind of sacred maintenance for the soul, for the nervous system. So, ladies, often we think that empowerment has to be really loud, dramatic. She's a self-empowered person. She's gone from this to that. But most days, do you know what it is? It's really quiet. It's really, really quiet because it's all in your choices and it's in your awareness. So let those little practices be your anchor. I'm going to move this out of the way. Hope you can see it all right. So let's take a moment to go inwards, because everything we've spoken about today, it lives in you. Not in me, not in the slide. It lives in you. So I want you to, well, you might have a pen and paper next to you, or you can look back at this in the recording and do it. Just close your eyes, actually. Close your eyes now. You guys that are here, you're listening to this, wherever you're listening to it, close your eyes and let yourself reflect and just breathe with me. Just inhale and come back to your body, and exhale and soften into the moment. And ask yourself, what would my most empowered self stop tolerating today? Just reflect on that. Sit with it. See what comes straight away. What would my most empowered self stop tolerating today? And let whatever rises, rise, no judgment, just truth. And then ask yourself, what do I know deep down but haven't been honoring? Let it just come to you. Let it pour out, even if it's messy, even if it surprises you. Let it just come to you, because we don't need polished answers. You just need honesty, because your soul knows. Whatever came up, even if it's just a whisper, just trust it, because this is you. Just trust what arises, because your soul knows. Did you have something come to you? Can you write in the comments, ladies, and let me know what actually, if you had, you don't need to write down what came to you, just, did you have something come to you straight away on these questions? Let me know in the comments. That would be awesome. Before we move on, we're nearly finished, ladies. Let's see. Sure did. Absolutely. Awesome. You're actually really honoring yourself when you do this work, because I can't do it for you. You've got to do it yourself. So before we move forward, I want you to pause with me here and take this in. You are the medicine. Let those words land. You don't need to be fixed. You don't need to become anyone else. And you don't need to work harder to earn your worth. Your power and your healing and your wisdom, it's always been inside of you. We live in a world that teaches us to outsource our power, to gurus, to experts, to external validation, to our partner, to whoever, parents. But true empowerment comes from within. And it's from remembering that you hold the key. Your presence, your voice, and your truth. It did. Beautiful. And your sensitivity. Your story. I know that many of you, if not all of us, we've had a messy, we've got messy parts. We got painful parts. and they are all sacred. You are already whole, and you are already enough, and you're already powerful. So the question is no longer, am I worthy? It's, am I willing to remember who I truly am? I hope you hear me here. Because you are the medicine that the world needs. And it starts with giving that medicine to yourself. So if today has stirred something in you, maybe a little soft rising, maybe a spark of truth, maybe a gentle reclaiming, then I want to extend a warm invitation to go deeper. And that is that I actually offer, and you may not be aware of this, I offer free sessions for clarity and empowerment discovery calls. So, it's a sacred space for you. It's for that woman that knows she's ready for more, but might not yet have the clarity of, what it looks like. And what I do in the call is to just explore where you are now and what's holding you back and where your soul is longing to go next. So it's a safe, just supportive conversation, and it's no pressure. It is just real connection. So you walk away with some insight, some inspiration, and a more of a clear sense of what your next aligned step would be, whether you may choose to work with me or not. If that resonates, I'd be really honored to, of course, hold space for you. So when you registered, you'll get information on that, and you may book in with me. And you also, before we wrap up, I want to say from my heart, a really big thank you for you. I get really emotional when I know that you've been here and you've been investing in yourself, because that's what it's about. That in itself is a powerful act of self-love, and it's empowerment. So as a thanks, I want to give you that. You're going to get a free digital resource, and that will come to you via email in a couple of days, or within the next 3 days, because I'm still just working through that. So you'll get that as you have registered via the link. And yeah, you can also get that free session with me. So yes, that is it. So I also want to say, I want to close with this, and that is that you were never meant to stay small. You were never meant to play by someone else's rules, and you were never meant to silence your soul. You were actually meant to awaken, to rise, and you were meant to remember. So it's not about becoming anyone else. And how often don't we think, we look at other people and we say, I wish I could do what they're doing. But this is not about becoming someone else. It's becoming, who you already always been, underneath all the noise and the roles and the fears and all that. So, my loves, no more shrinking, no more waiting, and no more self-abandoning. That is not here anymore, because this is your time. This is your awakening, and this is your reclamation. And I am so honored to have had you here with me today, your energy. And I want to say that I see you and I believe in you, and I can't wait to see all that you become. And, I have full belief in your becoming. So thank you so much for being here today. And I actually found this, that wasn't planned, just before I put this together. that I had a long time ago, and says, this is me, by the way. This is a real me, as you can see. Beautiful and beautiful as I am. You have the power inside of you. You are so strong, so powerful, so beautiful, so goddess-like. And once you remember all of you and are brave enough to step in your truth and start shining your light, your message will light up others as well. It's time to awaken that wellness warrioress, wellness warrioress within. The time is now. So thank you, ladies, for being here.